Okay, everyone. Hello and welcome along to another episode of Championship Drill. Here with Phil and with Jerry, as always, as we look at everything EFL Championship related here on our midweek special. Well, the Friday special from the midweek games, I suppose. A couple of stories came out of midweek, I suppose. A couple of big ones, really.
Yeah.
We were talking last week about Bristol being in trouble.
Yeah.
Another defeat during the week, and we were saying the board has been patient with managers in the past, but this time they weren't so patient, and we figured he might go, and he has gone. And the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think was it like 6 in a row they've lost.
They've lost a lot. I think 5 definitely in a row now.
Yeah, so yeah, I know they had to act because they were definitely in big trouble.
Yeah.
The Watford game was the worst display I've seen them in a long, long time.
Yeah, they were expected to stay up. They were expected to be a top team as well. And you have a lot of managers being sacked. So there's a lot of managers linked to it. But yeah, Bristol should be doing a lot better, lads. It's been a strange season. You know what I mean? It comes down to a lot of factors, but yeah, they've been atrocious. And Bristol is a great city and stuff. So I'd say the fans are online, giving out a lot of shit about what's going on,
Yeah. And
and when you
went to the manager odds, there's Paul Cook, his favourite.
Paul Cook favourite. Did a good job Wigan last year, only for the points deduction to eventually relegate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they go on like a win streak of like 10 and 15.
Yeah. And I mean, that Wigan team was like just pieced together last season.
Yeah.
So he did an amazing job with them. So an interesting one for him to come in there.
Yeah.
Be strange. I suppose the Bristol fans. Yeah.
The
Bristol fans is. Yep.
No, you're good.
Oh yeah, I was going to say the Bristol fans as well have often been on top of the owner this season, because obviously he owns the rugby team, he owns the ice hockey team as well there, and they probably feel he's prioritising the rugby team a bit over the football team.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is really the case, but that seems to be whenever there's problems at Bristol City, that seems to be something that's always thrown his direction.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, he's definitely prioritising the rugby team anyway with all the results in the football. But look, there, Bristol's a great spot. Like it's one of the few locations you can fly from when you're at Cork Airport to Bristol. So look, they're a big club. I don't know what's happened. Is a manager related or what? I have a feeling that Joey Barton's going to end up there. I don't know why. I know Paul Cook is the man, but I think Barton might sneak in there. So they really need to stay up. I think if they stay up, then next year it'll be a different story. But yeah, they have been atrocious, and on an accumulator you can only bank on them to lose. That's bad,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those jobs that wouldn't be too bad to come into, because, like I said, they're a big club. They have an owner who's worked a lot of money. A nice, I suppose, investment into the stadium coming is there as well. So the stadium is looking good at the moment as well. Obviously, no fans there yet, but they had such a good start. It would probably, they'd probably have to go on a horrific run to end up being relegated, which they're kind of in the middle of at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you were a manager, you're coming in, you think, I've got 6 months till the end of the season where I'm not expected to do a whole lot except keep them in the division. And next year, then the board will hopefully back me to bring in some players and that.
Yeah.
It's been tough. I mean, O'Dowda going down injured for 2 or 3 months has been, a big loss to them, and they've lost 1 or 2 other players to injuries as well. But it just shows the squad isn't really big enough there at Bristol to be able to handle those injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not. Like I think they lie 14th in the table. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday are their kind of top bottom team, but it'll probably take a miracle for them to go down. But miracles can happen in the championship. But yet again, they've played a lot of games this season. I think it's 30 games. They've only won 12. They've lost 15. So it's a lot of losses in the game. It's not good for a team to lose 15 games.
No, and I think
those came in the first 12 matches, I'd say.
Yeah, and 5 or 6 of those defeats, like we said, have come in a row.
Yeah.
So
it's not nice, if I was a player, if I had an ego and I was a player, and I'm looking at my team losing 15 games, it's a dent to the ego,
I reckon they would have went down if they kept that manager.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. We've seen teams climb the division, but we've also seen the likes of Birmingham and Huddersfield start shooting down the division. It can happen both ways. I suppose the maddest story to come out of midweek that seems like it's actually going to happen is Thierry Henry taking over at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, Monaco last. He's obviously he's this.
I think he was actually in
Monaco. Now he's managing in Montreal, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
In
I thought he
MLS.
was in America, right?
But I tell you what that comes down to, lads, and I'm not being I never mentioned family things like, but he's got a child with a woman that's from Ireland. So it's probably coming down to the fact he wants to be closer to his child. You know what I mean? It's obviously he's over in Canada, and I know. I mean that's a fair bit away. Like managerial, like he's obviously he's been. You know, we know he's been at Monaco. He's at Montreal now. He's the Belgium assistant. He clearly wants to be back in Europe. Like clearly wants to be closer to home, and I think it comes down to family. As a player, he's one of the greatest of all time.
The thing in Monaco as well is he was kind of screwed over.
He was. I mean, it's a job he never should have taken. There was no money. They'd lost all their good players. The club was in a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of went in with his heart more than his head into that job, I think.
Yeah.
It's look as a player.
It is, and like you said, Jerry,
he's iconic. But
obviously.
Yeah.
Like he had a long old career at Arsenal as well, so he's lived in London for a long time. Bournemouth is obviously not that far from London.
Yeah.
No.
So it's kind of an area he knows well.
And as you say, look, it's none of our businesses, but look, clearly he's got family in the UK, like, you know what I mean? And he's at that age now, I suppose, where I suppose he's you know, he wants to be close to his family. You know, we won't hear about them things in the spotlight, like, but it's clearly that's a factor as well, I'd say, where he wants to kind of get close to family and stuff, you know.
That makes sense.
But from the club's point of view then as well, it's a strange one to go after.
Shocking, makes no sense.
There was a few
Do you know
things.
what I mean?
John Terry was linked as well.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Terry maybe, because Terry's been doing stuff. Now, yet again, look, Henry could prove me wrong, like, but, and I love the man, I'm a Liverpool fan. That man done more damage to us over the years. But look, I think, you know, for a club like Bournemouth, like, you know what I mean, they're we were tipping them for automatic promotion. Like, they've sacked the manager and they're kind of on the brink of dropping out of a playoff spot. Like, I just don't see the sense in it, like, you know what I mean? I just don't, like. It seems desperate at the club.
It's a big gamble.
Huge gamble.
It is a gamble. And I mean, he'll probably attract a couple of players just because, you know, he's so well respected if they have the money to bring in the players in the summer. But at the same time, they want to go get promoted this season. And I mean,
if they don't go up, they're going to lose Brooks and a few others if they don't go up this season.
Yeah. And you look at the likes of, you look at Woodgate, like we said, when he came in, we weren't sure, like, it was kind of dodgy the way he came in and was suddenly the caretaker manager.
Yeah.
But he's not done badly with them. I think they won 3 games in a row.
3 and a draw. 3 wins and a draw.
1 draw and 3 wins and a draw, yeah. Like, it's, you know, I mean, there shouldn't be any panic to bring someone in immediately as long as he's doing that. But I suppose with COVID and everything, even if Henry is named manager, with isolation and whatever, I don't know what the deal is with elite athletes and the UK's rules, because it seems some countries are okay, other countries aren't. So I don't know, is he going to have to isolate for 2 weeks when he arrives? Or
I think it's 5 days. I think it's 5 days.
Yeah.
Like, I suppose no matter how much of a superstar you are, I think everyone has to kind of follow the protocol. But yeah, I think is it a publicity stunt? It doesn't look like, you know, because apparently he is going to come in. But like, look, phenomenal player. Like, as a player, incredible. He actually done all right with Belgium as the assistant under Roberto Martinez. But Monaco maybe unlucky, and he's only at Montreal now. Like, so look, he hasn't got time to prove himself because
it's good to have him back, though. Good to have him back in England and back in the Championship. He's going to add a bit of something, I suppose. His press conferences, I'm sure, will be a bit of fun in that.
He walks the walk, and he's great to listen to. I could listen to Thierry Henry for days. Do you know what I mean? He's a really passionate man. Yeah. Look, he's probably still good enough to play the game, to be honest. But yeah, look, I think it's bizarre given what's out there at the moment. But you might prove me wrong. Like, Wayne Rooney's starting to prove me wrong. He's starting to win games at Derby.
Yeah.
So look, who am I to say he's not going to do a job?
Yeah. Well, that's it. And I think, like, he'll have the respect still of those players because it wasn't that long ago that he was playing, and it's like, you know, if Thierry Henry is, if you're a forward and he's telling you to do something, you're like, who are you to say you're wrong? Like, so he'll have that kind of instant respect from a lot of the players. It'll be interesting though, because they've been on a good run. It'll be interesting to see what happens when he comes in.
Yeah, it's look, maybe like as you say, he's young. You know, he knows the game. I'd love, like personally, I'd love to see him in the Championship, but he would have been the last name I would have put in a hat before his name. You know what I mean?
I thought it was a joke when I read it first, and then I was like, no, this is actually looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah,
because it seemed even the likes of Eddie Howe was probably going to maybe come back there. Because he's still sitting around doing nothing.
He's constantly linked. I think Eddie Howe had a plan, and I think his plan's backfired. I think somehow he thought he was going to get back into the Premier League, and rightly so, he should be, you know what I mean? But it's not worked out the way I wanted to work out. He'd be like Zidane going back to Madrid. You remember that, lads? Like, he went back to Madrid. And to be fair, he actually done all right since he went back. But look, a lot of trouble out in the Liga. But Henry at Bournemouth, never would have expected it.
There's a lot
of winners taking over Wrexham. You know what I mean? It's bizarre.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people want David Wagner to take it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wagner's a great manager. I know we're changing the ball, but Jurgen Klopp always speaks highly of him. And I know Wagner is actually still in touch with Jurgen, with players and stuff. But Wagner was immense at Huddersfield. But look, we'll see what happens. Henry coming in, shocked.
Yeah, shocked. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see him on the sidelines.
Definitely will. And we might get to see him next year in the flesh. Who knows?
That's it. So I suppose we better get into the games. There was quite a few of them. Start with Preston against Watford, and we said beforehand this one, it was going to be an interesting one because Preston don't win at home and Watford don't win away from home. So
this is a weird one. There was one shot on target, and that was the goal.
The goal was the only shot on target. Yeah, Ched Evans, missed a couple of good chances. He blasted one over, fired another one wide. Wasn't great. Deeney's out with what they called a niggling injury, so who knows how long he'll be gone. And another penalty to Watford. I mean, they seem to be getting penalties every week.
But to be fair, it was blatant.
It was a blatant penalty, and no Deeney on the pitch to take it. So Pedro stepped in for him. Pedro tucked it away. So
I thought Preston were very, very bad in this one.
They were awful. And I know we talk about them a lot because of all the Irish connection, and we talk about their manager a lot. But I mean, they're really being cut adrift now at the playoff places.
Yeah.
And their home form is so bad. Yeah. And it's one of those, it's like, I know, Jerry, you all say the crowd would be getting at him now. It's one of those, is like, would the crowd have helped them at home?
I think so.
Would they be able to push them forward at home?
Yeah, again,
they're 10 points off relegation at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're closer to relegation than they are to playoffs.
Yeah.
Or fairly close to it anyway.
I always look at the team selection, Stephen, Phil, and I always specifically look at that. Like, and you've got Alan Brown pretty much playing as a defender, like.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. And he always plays like centre, then he moves to the left back in the next game.
He was left back in that game, and this guy is probably one of their most creative players, not only at the club but in the Championship. And you've got Scoskin, like Sinclair's playing right behind Ched Evans, like nothing wrong with that, but like Alan Brown, he's I just don't understand it. Like I don't know. Yeah. Was there?
Didn't they get someone recently on loan as well from Brighton?
They did, yeah.
They got rid of 8 players and they brought 8 players in. I mean, we said at the time that was a bit strange that there was such a big turnover.
Yeah.
For me, Ched Evans is just a bizarre one to bring in anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never a guy that's going to score you 20 goals a season.
Yeah, 1 in 5, I think, is his record.
Yeah. And you already had, Maguire there. You already had the new lad, Reese, there. And like I said, you've Barkhouse and you've Sinclair. I mean, it's not like they didn't have someone. And there would have been other forwards. It was a bizarre one for me. Whatever about
Johnny, then Curry as well.
Yeah, like we could dedicate a show to Preston alone. Like, they brought back Greg Cunningham on the bench. Sam Vandenberg is highly rated at Liverpool. Obviously, he swapped deal with Ben Davis. Like, good centre back. I would throw him in there looking at the team right now. But Alan Brown playing left back, a guy that's so creative, and their captain, Brad Potts on the bench. I think Brad Potts is immense.
Yeah. Great player. Yeah.
I don't know, lads. Maybe they're tired. Maybe there's something we don't know. But yeah, it's not.
There.
Understand it.
You kind
But
of question whether
they were at home and they didn't have one shot on target.
it's awful. It's
Yeah.
awful, and the fans were not happy afterwards, as they wouldn't be. And again, you're against the Watford team that haven't travelled well this season.
Yeah.
I mean, Watford have the best home record in the league.
Yeah.
But they're still sitting fourth or something because they just don't do well away from home.
Yeah, they look like a team. Well, they've been the most frustrating team for us to watch all season, and you know what I mean. They're close to our heart in the sense of all the Irish connections. Adam O'Reilly is linked to Cork City or Waterford and loan. Good move for him to get experience. He's been on the bench pretty much all season. But yet again, Sean Maguire, he's not going to be there next season. No way. He'll go to Cardiff with Mick McCarthy. I can guarantee you he'll be playing.
Yeah.
And Brown playing left back, mental.
It's crazy.
Like if I was a Preston fan and I got a guy in from Liverpool that's highly rated, a Dutch star, I would bring him in and I'd put him centre back where he's supposed to be because it creates a buzz and this guy needs to learn. Now, he was promised first team football. He's not played yet. Like I think he played one game maybe, but like they're way off the ball. And I'm telling you, like they're in huge trouble again. I said it there. They won 3 games in a row. I'm saying they might be all right, but no, it's the damage is done. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be big changes there next season.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I suppose we move on then to the classic 1-0 to Stoke on a Tuesday night. Absolutely awful first half. It might be the worst game of football all season. The first half, anyway.
Yeah.
I think Bannan almost put it into his own net to give Stoke the lead, and then Rhodes had his shot saved. And
that goal as well.
Huh?
I thought he was onside, but that you can't see it.
It's impossible to see, but yeah, you can usually tell by the players' reactions as well. They kind of know if it was close, and they kind of know definitely if it wasn't. But yeah, I mean, Stoke have been drawing way too many games. We said that. I mean, it looked like this was headed for what would have been a 9th draw in 13 games, except for Fletcher, who took his chance when he got it. Really nice header, good cross, nice header.
Not bad, must say.
Yeah. And then again, like Clark should have scored as well. Like his header was not as good as Fletcher's, and Westwood was able to get to it when he shouldn't have left Westwood any chance of getting to it.
Yeah.
Stoke are, I mean, they really do. They know to kind of grind out the results and stuff. Like credit to James McLean for starting that game first of all, because James has been in the spotlight all week, and I was surprised not to see him start. I know James is a guy that he shrugs things off, but
he does.
He played a good game. I know he came off in the end, but credit where it's due to James. Joe Allen is just there. I mean, they still call him, what do they call him? What's his nickname? The Welsh Maradona or whatever. But Stoke have been kind of frustrating this season to watch. But yet again, look, they're still thereabouts. And you know,
too many draws has been their problem, I suppose, really. And it's the thing is, when you have that issue where you're drawing too many games, it doesn't take a whole lot. It's 1 player, 2 players to turn them into wins. And next season, Stoke could be really, really good.
Yeah. One striker changes the game, lads. They defensively they're very good. So they give you an Adam Armstrong or like
Daniel Sturridge.
Yeah. Or like the game we're going to come on to here now, which was the Bristol City one. We talked about them a little bit in Reading. Reading, who have Lucas Yeo, who got his 20th goal of the season there against Bristol. He's not a guy at the start of the season. You said this guy's going to get you like 20, 30 goals this season.
Yeah.
He's just having one of those years where the team around him, and to be fair, he always credits it's the team around him are creating the chances for him.
Yeah.
And, Reading have been up in the playoff places pretty much since the season started.
Yeah.
And they're still there. I know they had a 7-point lead at the top at one stage very early on, but they just haven't, they've gone through their bad spells. They haven't fallen out.
They seem to have the bad spells around the international breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had so many chances in this one. Olise, Jaria, Joe, all could have scored.
They could have scored 6.
Yeah, I mean, the first half especially. Bristol were a bit better in the second half, but by then it was all over, really. I mean, it was 2-0 at halftime. Morrison got the second goal. It could have been 6-0, like you said, Phil, at halftime.
Yeah.
And after that, it seemed like Bristol were just going to try to lose this one 2-0. They didn't really do much else to try and win it.
Yeah.
I think they had 1 shot on target. And the manager gone. Reading just look really, really settled at the minute, and with Joe banging in the goals up front, they're a real chance of. Certainly, you wouldn't fancy playing them in the playoffs over 2 legs.
I wouldn't like
No,
to.
they're very strong, and Joe is something else, as you say. He's it's probably one of the first seasons where we've seen 3 or 4 strikers actually shine in the Championship. Normally you have about 2, but like there's so many in the mix now at the moment. It's
I mean, when you think, was it Ollie Watkins had 27 league goals last year, led the league in goals, or no, was he beaten by 1 by Mitrovic?
Yeah, I think
Mitrovic
so,
of 28 maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have 3 strikers in this division with Joe, with Armstrong, and with Tony, who all score over 30 goals this season.
Yeah. They'll all be in the Premier League next year, regardless if they get put up or not. I can guarantee you, Armstrong,
Newcastle,
Tony,
Newcastle.
they'll all be in the Premier League next year. There's no doubt about it, because you're going to have the Premier League cautious with spending so much money over COVID and stuff. I'm telling you now, the Championship will be the year. 2021 will be the year where the Championship is properly rated.
Yeah, I mean, there's like to have 3 players in the division score over 30 league goals. No, they're not there yet, obviously, but you're 16 games still to go?
Yeah, they're on due course. They'll be surprised if they don't do it. Yeah,
the way they're scoring the goals, like so. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. But like we spoke already about Bristol, it wasn't a shock the manager went, especially like you said, Phil. They were awful in this game.
Yeah, terrible. Really poor.
Yeah.
So we move along then to one that was kind of a strange enough one as well, the Middlesbrough Huddersfield, because again, it's one of the ones where Huddersfield played really well in the game and lost it. Yeah. And that seems to happen to them more than any other team in the division.
Yeah, this game again against Wickham last week, it was the exact same.
Yeah, again, we just talk about they don't have a Joe, they don't have an Armstrong, they don't have a Tony. They just do not take their chances.
Yeah. Aren't they like, how many shots in target did they have in this game? Because they usually have a good lot.
They had a lot, I'd say. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'd be shocked if it was less than 6.
I'll find out.
Yeah, you have a look there, and I'll just wrap up the game quickly there. And Penn's a brilliant free kick to give Huddersfield the lead. Duncan Watmore did really well for an equaliser, and Ashley Fletcher then completed the first half turnaround when he took home a penalty after Schofield, or after Lewis O'Brien had caught Daniel Fisher in the box.
They had 5 shots on target at 12 and 7 off.
Yeah, McNair was sent off in the game as well for a late tackle on Bacuna. But
that was a weird one. I thought that was harsh.
Very harsh dismissal, it really was. I'd say they might appeal it and it might be brought back to a yellow.
Yeah.
McNair's been very good for Middlesbrough all season.
Yeah.
And they won't want him to be suspended for 3 games.
I think that'll be overruled, all right. It has to be. So it's.
I know he dived in dangerously, and
it was dangerous, but it was harsh though. I mean, there was no intent there, I don't think, to go and hurt anyone.
No.
That like 2-1 down to 10 men. Huddersfield kind of gave it a bit of a go near the end.
Yeah.
But they didn't really do much. They hit the post. I mean, Phillips probably should have scored with that one.
Yeah.
But he hit off the post. He was only about 12 yards out.
It was an alright game to watch. Regardless of the scoring, it was actually an alright game to watch. Do you know what?
Yeah, it was.
Behind it, like, there was a bit of entertainment in it, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Borough needed wins because again they were doing like a Stoke on it. They were drawing way too many games.
Yeah.
So they need wins if they're going to start pushing.
Yeah.
Huddersfield are in trouble. Only 5 clear of Sheffield Wednesday, who have a game in hand over them.
Well, yeah, we thought they were a sinking ship there at one stage, you know, but like you definitely have Middlesbrough and Cardiff fighting for that 6th spot. Like they're kind of, I suppose, 6 points off it.
Yeah.
Huddersfield could be drawn into a battle because, you know, as you say, Sheffield Wednesday now are on the up. Bit of momentum there. Obviously Wickham, you know, but it's it'll be interesting. There's going to be some sweaty results on the way, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy to think that they could be dragged into it given where they were about 5 weeks ago.
Yeah,
but the form hasn't been good, and it's a worry when you're playing well and losing games in some ways. Because if their form goes the other way, they're really in trouble.
Huge trouble.
It's kind of, they say, a sign of a good team is when they play bad and still win. I don't know. A sign of what kind of a team it is when you play well and keep losing.
Take notes of Stoke City.
That's it.
I think it's just the manager as well, though. It helps. His style has always been like that.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, he usually has Huddersfield so solid as well. But I don't know. They're leaking goals more than they usually do. So there's
Yeah.
an issue
No,
there somewhere.
they're still
Uh,
scoring a goal here and there, but it is worrying.
Yeah.
They're in
is.
a relegation battle, definitely.
And we look at two teams who are down there as well in the next one. Wickham against Derby, 2-1 win for Derby, and this heartbreaking again for Wickham. I mean, their season, if you had their season as like one of these, where Amazon follow the clubs around or whatever, it would be heartbreaking. It seems every game something goes against them
But
and
that
they
Darren
lose.
Horgan decision was scandalous.
It was absolutely scandalous. So before that happened, Ikpeazu very early on turned Waghorn's cross into his own goal.
Yeah.
And then Horgan then it was 1-0 to Derby. That's when Horgan had the goal ruled off for offside.
Yeah.
There's no way he was offside.
No.
And it was so that caught them out, and then they equalised through a penalty after night fouled night. Ikpeazu tucked it home 1-1. Derby didn't look good at all in this one. Wickham again, like the other day when they got the win, they just looked so good in the second half. Load of chances. Mehmeti had their best effort. Near the end, they kind of faded a little. Kazim Richard missed a good chance, and Wisdom then fired home after I think Waghorn hit the post with a free kick.
Yeah. Heartbreak, as you said, towards the end.
4 minutes into stoppage time or something like that. Crazy.
Wins them the goal, yeah. Mental. Great for Wayne Rooney, but look, Wickham have had no luck. I thought it was going to turn, but no, carry on.
I mean, there can't be a team that has had so little luck as they've had this season. And it's not even that they're losing goals 4 minutes into stoppage time, which is always a bit unlucky when you've played so well, and it's heartbreaking that way. But the decisions that have gone against them. Wasn't there a couple of corners early in the season where there was absolutely no fouls at all, but the referees were given free outs?
Yeah,
when they were scoring goals, and like you said, Horgan looked like he was about 2-3 yards onside.
Yeah. It's horrible. Absolutely.
It wasn't even one of these close ones that we talk about. So it's strange. It's really, really strange.
Yeah, it's look, when we look at teams that go down, you'll definitely say Wickham, regardless of the points they're on, they were very unlucky, like to lose so many games, 1 or 2-1 or.
Yeah, but I reckon they're kind of one of those clubs. They'll go down, they might come back up again because I know last season the promotion was amazing for them, but the players, they'll hang on to an awful lot of those players still, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they will.
Because it just seems like a fun place to be playing football.
Yeah, they'll be grand. They'll be grand. They'll come back if they go down.
Yeah. All right, so we move along to Mick McCarthy. We spoke about him a little bit earlier in his Cardiff side. They had a good win away from home, 2-0 to Luton.
Yeah.
Probably the worst. We were saying the other one was a bad first half. This was probably worse.
Yeah.
Collins, great chance for Luton in the first half. I don't know how he missed it.
Yeah.
Very close out. I mean, should have been 1-0 Luton at half time.
Yeah.
Nothing else really happened in the first half. The two teams kind of cancelled each other out a lot. But Cardiff improved in the second half, and it was Harry Wilson.
He was outstanding in
the second half.
Great
goal that he scored, wasn't it? Unreal goal.
Yeah, it was unreal. Yeah.
He almost got a set.
Mick took him out, and he seemed to have an agenda that I'm going to be better, and you're going to have to put me back in.
Yeah. I mean, he responded the way you hope a player will. He didn't sulk. He didn't give out about it. He didn't say, "Oh, I deserve to be there."
Yeah.
He took it on the chin, and when he came back in, like you said, Phil, he said, "Look, I'm going to show you what I can do."
Yeah.
And he's been undroppable since. He's been very good for Mick.
I tell you, lads, they were lucky to get him in the Championship.
Yeah.
You would think he would have went to a West Brom or something on loan.
Yeah. But he was outstanding. He won the game for them basically yesterday.
Yeah.
2 bits of skill, one for the goal, then an even better strike that the keeper somehow tipped over.
Oh yeah.
For a corner, and then the corner got a bit messy, bounced out to Vaux at the edge of the box, who fired home. That came from as well. Wilson's shot had kind of led to the corner. So a good 2-0 win. Massively improved since Mick came in. We spoke about that in the last show, the work he's done. Luton, I mean, Collins should have scored. Other than that, they were their usual selves, hard to break down, only for Wilson's kind of 2 moments of magic, really.
I think
a lot else really happened.
I think Luton now are at a point where they don't. I suppose they're not going to give out if they lose because they know they're going to stay up.
Yeah. I thought what was kind of funny, Nathan Jones after the game, he was talking about how big and physical like Mick McCarthy's teams are going to be and how big and physical Cardiff are. And that like Luton are missing both their centre backs, that they wanted to fill them with as big players as they could as possible. And he said he picked the biggest side he had available to him, except he mentioned the groundskeeper at Luton Town is 6'4". He said he's the only one he wasn't able to get into the team for this one.
Madness.
That's very good.
James Collins is an absolute gem. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking luck.
Yeah, it was one he won't dwell on. I mean, he's not that type of player that he'll miss a chance and it'll affect him for the next few weeks. But
that's it, exactly.
But he really should have put them 1-0 up. But again, Cardiff are just flying it, absolutely flying it under Big Mick.
Yeah, they're they're 6 points, I think, off the playoffs.
6 points back. I mean, that was Tuesday night. That was before Bournemouth had their win. So they actually, if they're playing before Bournemouth, they can keep putting the pressure on them to win.
Yeah.
Reading and Bournemouth, they're going to keep putting pressure on them, it seems.
Yeah. I think Cardiff will break into that top 6. And I love the way Mick came in and said, look, lads, no need for a 3-year contract. Give me to the end of the season and see what
there's no pressure on them.
No. And I mean, if you're a team now that is thinking of, if you're even, like we said, a Preston and you're thinking Big Mick might be around in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
And you see what he's just done with Cardiff.
Yeah.
And he knows all the Irish lads.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. Great manager. And I'm telling you, he's probably one of the greatest ever in the Championship, let alone the Premier League, but definitely the Championship. And I thought he would have ended up at if they sacked the manager.
Yeah,
I reckon he would have signed for him. The fact that they kept the manager, obviously, Mick looked at these options. Cardiff was a great move for him, and I'm telling you, lads, they'll be very close to that top 6.
They will because they're putting where Bournemouth were in bad form. They're starting to win now again. Bournemouth, obviously, we spoke about them earlier and the good run they've been on under Woodgate, and Reading have been winning again, and Cardiff are going to keep putting that pressure on them. They're going to have to keep it up because Cardiff are going to be waiting there to pounce.
Yeah.
So it's going to make it's going to be very, very exciting into the season at the top and the bottom, I think.
Most definitely.
So we move to a team who are currently top, I suppose. 2-0 win for Norwich away to Coventry. Coventry again gave their all. Their best chance was probably O'Hare, broke free in the second half.
Yeah.
Good goalkeeping from Krull, though, to deny him in that one. And again, it was just kind of similar to Wilson in the last game. It was just Bannan and Pucky, really, the two of them. The quality Norwich have up front was the difference. Bannan played Pucky through for the first one, Pucky has 14 goals now this season, and Bannan set up 5 of them, which is some going. And Pucky returned the favour as he set up Bannan for his goal.
He's playing well.
Unbelievable. And we talked about it in the summer when we were going players who could potentially go to the Premier League.
Yeah.
And we were kind of shocked his name wasn't even being mentioned in the summer, Bannan, of going to the Premier League.
Yeah, but they probably wanted 30 million for him.
Yeah, but the fact that coming up to January, a few clubs were linked with him. But in the summer, nobody was linked with the guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we were talking about it was nuts when you were looking down to the Championship at the likes of Sarr at Watford and them. And how Bannan was overlooked is beyond me because he just makes this division look way too easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's unbelievable. Very surprising in back in the Premier League, but Sarr is those buckets of energy, lads. Mane has taken him to be world elite, you know what I mean? He's if Watford don't come up, I'd put my life on it that he won't be in the Championship next year.
No, he won't be. He actually might go to Liverpool.
I mean, you just don't know. You don't know. But good win for Norwich. They've turned their form around. Pukki scored 2 in the last game, got a goal here. He's really much a player that once he hits form, he keeps scoring goals.
Yeah.
Real confident here. Coventry on the what's that?
So he done all right in the Premier League as well when he was there. He got a but he's a good player, lads. He's a very good player, Pukki.
He is one of the best free transfers of all time. It's unbelievable what he's done for them. But you look then at Coventry on the flip side. Like we said, we love watching them. They always give it their all. They always play football the right way. But they are really in a relegation battle as well. Just 3 points above Wednesday, who have a game in hand over them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think Coventry. I think they'll stay up. I think they're
It's a
good
tough
enough.
one. They're one of those teams that they play football the right way. Sometimes they don't get enough goals, I suppose. Again, they don't have that like main man to bang in loads of goals from. So we'll wait and see. Move on then to a team who were really in trouble. I know, Phil, you thought that this one was hilarious in some ways, the first goal. Millwall beating Birmingham 2-0. I call it here a horrible pass, but it was more than that. I mean, he
Yeah, it was shocking.
split his own defence open.
Yeah, like
very early on. You're a team that are struggling.
like
Not in good form.
I reckon the way they're going, I reckon he'd actually walk away himself.
He might do. I mean, you look at them, like we said, they're in bad form. They're in the relegation zone. What you tell your players do is keep it tight early on, and play it safe. Don't do anything dangerous. And San Jose, basically played in Jed Wallace.
Like they have 5 losses in a row. That's really, really poor.
Yeah.
And he's out of position, Steve. He's a midfielder, like.
Yeah. And it was
back or somewhere. I can't remember, but
it was awful. It really, really was. Matt Smith should have scored. I suppose Harley Dean did well to clear it off the line.
Yeah.
Harley Dean really should have scored though for Birmingham. He blasted over after the keeper had dropped it. Belowski in goal for Millwall, not his best moment of the game, but Harley Dean missed. 50 minutes to go. Hutchinson crossed it in. Thompson finished it off. And 5 defeats in a row, like you said, Phil, for Birmingham. We're second from bottom.
And then
7 unbeaten now for Millwall.
Yeah.
And Millwall actually move ahead of the likes of Preston, Bristol and Blackburn.
Yeah, they're gone up to 11th. They're gone up to 11th.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we were calling for Millwall team manager to be sacked a few weeks back.
Yeah, and he's turned it around. But they're one of those teams that now could go away unbeaten
It's
7.
It's almost like when Troy Parra left, they started winning.
Yes, scoring goals. It's a strange one.
Like, has he done well at Ipswich, or what's the story?
Yeah, I haven't even checked.
He's not scored yet. No.
Yeah.
No, but you look at Millwall and they're 7 games unbeaten. They could easily go the next 6 without winning as well.
That's it.
They're just one of those teams that they've drawn too many games this season to really push for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they're in good form. They're not an easy team to beat when they're at it. Kind of a surprise result coming off the back. Next, Barnsley obviously beat Brentford last Sunday after we were done recording the show. Yeah. And then Brentford go in midweek against QPR, local derby. Brentford had beaten them 4 times in a row. Tony scores a goal after 30 minutes. Brentford are absolutely dominating the game. Tony probably should have made it 2-0.
Yeah.
QPR didn't create anything. No. And Barbet, I think, had 1 shot that Rhea saved, and absolutely nothing was going for them. And then Kane and Wallace combined well, and that was it, really. It was 1-1 then. Field got that first one. Kane and Wallace setting it up, doing well, like I said. And then Charlie Austin got the winner 4 minutes later with 15 minutes to go. Not awesome. A whole lot happened after that. Yeah, Charlie Austin celebrating in front of the Brentford manager. There was a bit of controversy about that at the time.
I love it.
But
he's been some signing from.
Yeah, and I mean, he loves the club, and that's always good. And he's determined to prove a point as well, I think. Yeah. But a good win for QPR, and Brentford after not losing since October, 2 defeats on the bounce.
Yeah. I don't think it's a crisis thing. I think they'll be back to normal at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, they should have won this game as well. I mean, they should have been out of sight before QPR scored.
Yeah.
It was just one of those games where they didn't, and QPR took their chances when they got them.
So, I mean, that's not the subject, but I'm telling you, lads, watch Swansea. They win the next 2 games, they're top. Yeah. Watch Swansea.
Yeah. Well, Swansea are doing really, really well. We're coming on to that game here. We might as well, while we're talking Swansea, might as well move on to the game. They beat Forest 1-0 very, very late on.
Yeah. I think they beat them 1-0 very late on as well a few months back.
They did, and I actually think it was the same guy scored the goal.
Yeah.
Connor Roberts, yeah.
Roberts, I think he's only scored 3 all season, and both of them have been late winners against Forest, or 2 of them have been late winners.
They beat them 4 or 5-1 a few weeks ago in the FA Cup.
5-1, just over 3 weeks back in the Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a strange one because Forest dominated the game.
Yeah, Knockhart had a great chance.
A great chance. He hit the bar, Graben missed one of those where the cross comes in, he just couldn't reach it.
Yeah.
Knockout again, fired wide another time. Lolly had a great effort that Woodman saved. And yeah, I mean, I think Corday had one chance that he blasted wide.
Yeah.
And other than that, nothing was really going right for Swansea in this one in terms of like attacking play. Graben had another chance. But then Bidwell, one full back, found the other. Bidwell to Roberts. Got his, like we said, third goal of the season, laid on again to beat Forest. Yeah. And it was just one of those. Swansea took the best chance they had, and Forest didn't take the many chances they had.
Could be crucial come the end of the season.
Massive. And that's why we said, like, you have Huddersfield play well and lose. Swansea weren't good, and they still managed to get that win. They took their chance when it came their way.
Connor was kind of horrid. Like I think Villa will probably look to keep him next season. Do you know what I mean? But like he's Swansea look like Kyle Loughlin there. He's still an excellent player. Like Matt Grimes there, brilliant.
Lowe's good as well.
Yeah, Jamal was very good. But like it's as I say, if they win the next 2 games, lads, they're a point ahead of Brentford in 4th, and Swansea around that position very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who gets those automatic spots because you have Watford are starting to win away from home now suddenly. Very good at home. You know, they could make a push. You've, like said, Swansea are in good form. Brentford have lost 2. You can't see them losing too many more in a row now. You've Norwich back on form again. It's going to be some end to the season to see who takes those automatic spots. And then the teams that don't make it in. It's going to be some playoffs as well. Going to be exciting into the season for sure.
I can't wait for it. Yeah, plenty of sweet tears and sleepless nights for the fans.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a bold prediction that next season Forest get promoted.
Forest up next season?
Get promoted.
Forest and Cardiff.
Yeah.
They could do. I think the teams that are possibly going to be relegated out of the Premier League will struggle to come back up.
Yeah, they will.
Well, West Brom might do an RH.
They might if they can hold on to their players, but Fulham are a bit up and down. I mean, they're in a decent form at the minute, but I don't think their squad is brilliant. I don't think they'd come in and run away with the
that's
league.
Another one where Tony Khan is more invested in other stuff like than Fulham.
Yeah, that's it.
Like they put more money into the Jaguars than they do with Fulham.
Yeah. And that's it. Those kind of guys are hit so hard with COVID now as well that it's, it'd be interesting to see what happens to them next season. We move on into Barnsley, who get 2 wins in the space of a few days after ending Brentford's unbeaten run on Sunday. Another big win Wednesday night. They deserved it. They were the better team, really.
Yeah, they really were.
They looked really, really good. Woodrow, who's been good for him, he probably should have scored for him early enough. Adebayo hit the bar, I think, or hit the post rather.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the manager.
Very good.
Listening to his interviews, he just comes across so well.
Yeah.
And they were very unlucky against Chelsea, I thought, last week.
Yeah. He's surprisingly enough, Barnsley could be a big team for next season, like, you know what I mean? But like Blackburn are there. They've been kind of pretty much, if I was to weigh up Blackburn's performances throughout the season, obviously they've been hot and cold. Harvey Elliott, lads, did not start again. Obviously, Stuart Downing, he started. Obviously, there's Corey Evans and all these guys. But I just think there's something wrong there. Like, you know what I mean? Harvey Elliott came on, he made an impact straight away again. Like, set up for a man.
I suppose tough one. They have to kind of look after Armstrong or look after Elliott, I suppose, with his age and that. In some ways.
Speaking of Elliott, I think Liverpool did their court case has actually ended, did it? The other day.
Yeah. Liverpool
have to pay him money. They have to pay compensation.
Only pittance for what he's actually worth, though, thankfully. Well, he's been, like, to me, he's probably, you know what I mean, obviously, like Adam Armstrong with Harvey Elliott. Like, Armstrong's banging goals there for the centre.
Linked to Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, Armstrong's doing very well. The goals in this one, I suppose, just to Morris. And I think was it Mowat got the second one for Barnsley. Armstrong very late.
The first goal is
very good goal.
Yeah.
And needed to be because Blackburn were pretty tight until then. Like we said, a few good chances.
But they were lucky though because they did score the second one.
Yeah, I mean Kaminsky made a couple of good saves, I suppose, to help Rovers out. Adam Armstrong got his goal. like we said, Harvey Elliott assisting that one, but that was way too late for any sort of a comeback. But having a look there at the stats when I was going through them, the first 16 games of the season, Blackburn scored 31 goals. They've only scored 12 in their last 13 games.
Yeah.
Madness. Don't know what's gone wrong.
You know, I mean, they were averaging almost 2 goals a game in the first 16. They were averaging just under 1 a game in the last 13.
Strange. Very strange, you know.
Yeah.
And like we said, I mean, they're just losing touch with playoffs. Barnsley, on the other hand, on the up. They're only 7 points off Bournemouth, I think, now.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I was tipping Blackburn for a top 6. You know, I was like they were looking really good for the playoffs, and then obviously there was a bit of a dip. Like Armstrong can obviously keep it alive. There's still plenty of games to go. Elliott obviously has always made an impact at Blackburn while playing. So I don't know. I don't know. Is it just the case they are protecting him? He's quite young. Is it just do you know what I mean? Is there something like Stuart Downing? Like, you know, nothing against Stuart. Like, you know, great player.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's you know, is he 36 now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
there's no wrong with that. Like, don't get me wrong, age is only a number, lads. Garrett, you know, Garrett, Barry, all these guys, all legends. But like, I would definitely have a live wire Elliott. As you see, he came on, changed the game completely, and they need to keep him playing if they want to get the wins, you know.
Yeah, they do. I suppose we move on to the last one then of midweek. Bournemouth with a good 1-0 win over Rotherham, really. You know, Rotherham in this one, they looked very, very good without the ball. Very hard to break down. Billing eventually getting the goal after being set up by Smith. But Rotherham were very poor when they had possession in this one. They gave the ball away a lot, especially when they were getting towards the Bournemouth goal. They lost possession an awful lot. But you know, really, really nice volley from Wiles at the end. Begovic made a good save. And there was a chance blasted over as well, wasn't there, Phil, early on? Or somewhere in the game from Rotherham as well that they really should have taken. Awful. But a good win for Bournemouth, who are now 6-point cushion over Cardiff, like we said. And Cardiff are going to keep pushing them, so they're going to have to keep winning. Because coming into this one, that gap was down to 3. So they had to win to push it back up to 6. So it's going to be interesting. Rotherham, though, I mean, they're still well down in the relegation battle. But they're playing so much better, especially very impressed with how they were without the ball in this one.
Yeah. They were unlucky. They should have scored that one chance, as I said. Like, it was so bad. Such a poor miss.
Bad miss. But Bournemouth, it's going to be interesting. I've said Rotherham good form when they need it. Those games in hand, when they come along, they're going to have to take something out of them, I think, to really give themselves a good chance staying up.
Yeah. It's interesting times, no doubt. But as you say, look, they do have a couple of injuries. Solanke's not there, like Shane Long's on the bench. Obviously, that was a good scalp. Rotherham were looking absolutely superb, and they had the games in hand, but they have not done anything with the games in hand. Now, I believe they will stay up, but look, we're seeing a lot of the teams that were dominating, lads, dipping. Now, Redden have been thereabouts consistently. Fairly unlucky not to be in the top, you know, top spot or something. But look, it's all I'll say is watch Swansea. Watford on the way back up, as you know, and you know, Bournemouth will be thereabouts. But like, they are missing a lot of players. And yet again, they've done well to stay where they are. Will Henry come in and give them the X factor? I don't know. But yet again, there's a lot of uncertainty at the club at the moment, clearly, with managers and Woodgate's come in. It just seems like they don't know what they want, lads. They do not know what they want. So it's going to be interesting if we're watching Sky Sports News on Monday. Terry Henry, new manager of Bournemouth. It's obviously a good thing for us. We get to have a nice little topic, you know, but it's I don't know. They've really kind of gone off the ball a small bit, even with the win. Yeah. And, you know what I mean? I think they'll be disappointed if they don't get that top 2, you know?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So we'll leave it there for our look back in the games. We'll look ahead, I suppose, quickly. But first, your best goal of those games, if you have one.
For Huddersfield.
Mpenza, great goal, great strike.
Yeah, agree.
Like there was a lot, though. Charlie Austin's header was good as well.
Very good. There was a few good ones actually during the week. But I think the free kick as well was just a brilliant strike, even though they lost the game. The player of the week for you?
I think Wilson.
Wilson?
Yeah, the Harry Wilson show, definitely. And we should nearly give a manager of the week as well, Big Mick. Big Mick deserves a chuckle. Yeah, Wilson was immense.
Very good. Very good. And the best team, or the team that impressed you a bit?
QPR.
Yeah,
I think QPR.
yeah.
I think even though they lost, Nottingham Forest were very good against Swansea,
Yeah.
other than putting the ball in the net. But yeah, I think QPR, very good.
Hume's got them playing well, and I'm telling you, like when the fans get back, they'll enjoy it. They're getting back to what they were the season before, you know.
Yeah, but that said, I think Barnsley for me, another good win over a good team. And the shock of the week, there was one.
Probably, obviously QPR beating Brentford with a shock on paper, but I suppose Barnsley, Barnsley beating Blackburn 2-1, is it a shock? Maybe not.
QPR, I'd say.
I'd say QPR, even though it's a derby game. There wasn't that many what you'd call very surprising. There was, during the week. So
yeah.
I suppose we'll just quickly, to end it, we'll have a quick look ahead to what's coming up. Tonight we've got Watford derby, great game.
Watford are great at home.
They're very good at home.
I reckon it could be a draw.
Could be a draw, yeah. I think Watford might win this one by a couple of goals, maybe 3-1 or so.
I'll go for the same, 2-3-0 definitely.
But you never know on Friday night under the lights what'll happen. Afternoon kickoff. Then on Saturday, Coventry home to Brentford.
I say Brentford. They'll get back on one of the ways.
I think they will, and I think one of the reasons they will is Coventry aren't the type of team that are going to sit 10 men behind the ball.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love it though. I know they're losing, but Jesus, they go out with the shields up,
Yeah. I mean, they are kind of the way Leeds are in the Premier League. Coventry are a little, maybe not as gung-ho as Leeds are, but they're a little bit like that. And so I think Brentford will get back on track. I just think Coventry's style suits Brentford a little bit. Move on then, Bristol City home to Barnsley.
I reckon Bristol City because the toxic energy is gone.
Yeah, you reckon Bristol City? I think could be a draw on this one. I think so. Then an interesting one, Cardiff home to Preston. How do you see that one, Jerry? Big make-up against half his former Irish squad.
Do you know what? I think Cardiff will win it. I think mixing a good momentum. Preston are in big trouble. The manager won't be. They won't look at our status until the end of the season. But yeah, I just look at that Cardiff team, lads. They're really better than Preston at the moment. Preston have it all. It's just not being used the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. It's if a fan can see something, when a manager can't, there's something wrong. Look, he's a great manager, Alex Neil, but he's not using the squad the way he should.
I reckon a draw.
Yeah, you think a draw? I think Cardiff as well might nick this one at home. Preston are a good way, but I think they like Jerry said there, there's something just not right there. The team is just, it never seems to be the same team twice.
Yeah.
Huddersfield home to Swansea.
And upset, Huddersfield
upset. I have a funny feeling that might happen as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 games and Swansea have 2 games in hand.
I think you always get a result out of nowhere. Yeah. And that could be the one today. It's just Huddersfield were so good midweek and lost.
Yeah.
That if Swansea underestimate them at all, they could be in trouble.
Oh, they're so well intact.
They are very good. I mean, it would be a shock for Huddersfield to win, but it's just like Phil. I have a feeling that's where the shock might come. I mean, it could easily be 8 into Swansea as well in that one. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Millwall home to Wickham.
I want Millwall to win, I want Wickham to win, but it'll be Millwall.
Millwall, good run of form. Wickham, surely something goes right from eventually. But I think Millwall at home is the smart money.
I bet the Wickham will win the last 5 games of the season. So say they get relegated with 5 games to go. I can guarantee you Wickham will win all 5 games no matter who it's against.
Yeah. I could see it as well.
Absolutely. But be an interesting one. Norwich, Rotherham. Another one that could be a good one. Norwich at home.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I say 2-1 or 3-1, one or the other.
Yeah, I think it might be one of those 1-0s to Norwich where they just scrape by Rotherham, who look very good again midweek, I must say. But if Rotherham lose that one, it'll be like 3 defeats in a row, as good as they've been. Yeah. How do you see that one, Jerry?
It's a good game. Both play sexy football, as I always say. I'm going to say Norwich.
Norwich has won that one. All right, we move on then to Nottingham Forest, home to Blackburn.
Forest, I'd say.
Yeah, I think Forest again. I think Blackburn, there's something just not quite clicking from at the minute.
Yeah.
QPR, good win midweek up against Bournemouth, who, they won't have Henry in by then, although you might get an announcement tomorrow morning, who knows.
Yeah, that's true.
But they've done well under Woodgate. How do you see this one going?
I think do you know what? I'm going to say a draw.
Do you reckon a draw?
Yeah, I reckon a draw.
Yeah, I just can't call it because I could see either of them winning it or either of them losing it. Reading, Middlesbrough.
Reading.
You think Reading at home? Yeah, I think this could be a draw as well, this one. Both teams.
Go back to the I fancy QPR, but Middlesbrough, I think they're going to be in a long battle with Cardiff to get that 6th spot. And I believe the team will drop out, so I don't think they'll be touched. I think Borough will stay about, and if that means beating Reading, then so be it. I think they will do it.
That will be a big one for them because obviously Reading, one of the teams they're chasing, so it's a big game in terms of the playoff places. That one.
It's a very hard one to call.
Very hard to call. I mean, it could go either way, and it could be a draw. Like it's one of those where it's near impossible to call.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those where if Middlesbrough take the lead, you'd fancy them to go on and win it. But if Reading take the lead, you'd fancy them to almost hit Middlesbrough for another couple on the break.
That's it. Yeah. Exactly.
Sheffield Wednesday, home to Birmingham.
Sheffield
Two teams.
Sheffield Wednesday. Gone. Like, did you watch the end of the match where he kind of walked down the tunnel by himself?
Yeah. I mean, he has to, like you said, he either has to walk away or they have to get rid of him.
Yeah, he's done. Like he's just it's not even no energy. He's nothing. He's no passion for it.
He's lost the players and he doesn't want to be in a relegation battle and they don't, but yet that's where they are and they're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then finally, Stoke at home to Luton in a game that has 0-0 written all over it.
I reckon Stoke will win 3-0, I think.
Yeah. Stoke 1-0.
1-0 Stoke.
The bear twice.
Yeah. There we go. So good weekends of action ahead. So we look forward to looking back on that on Sunday with everybody. Any standout ties there you're looking forward to?
One tonight, actually.
One tonight would be a good one, yeah.
I also reckon that Cardiff Preston could be good.
Yeah. That could be a great game, yeah. A few good ones to look forward to. So hopefully we'll get the goals or at least the excitement. Yeah. And we'll leave it there and we'll be back with you again on Sunday/Monday.
Sounds good.
Cheers.
Thank you, mate.